Hello and welcome to Waylander's Wandering. Today I'm going to be showing you my quick and effective way of painting up Raven Guard Space Marines for Warhammer 40,000. To start off with, I have mixed up equal thirds of Citadel Contrast Black Legion, Vallejo Express Colour Black Lotus and Express Colour Contrast Medium in my airbrush to give a black but a kind of dusty finish, and I'm going to cover my Space Marine with a nice even coat of this. Try and get everywhere. And as you can see, the airbrush is super fast and covers everywhere very quickly. If you don't have access to an airbrush, you can just as easily use a thin coat with a normal paintbrush and get a similar effect. So I will leave that guy to dry and come back in for the next stage. With that black now dry, and I've also hit up the areas that are going to be other than black or metallic with some white. I'm a little disappointed that the black that's dry. Well, it's a lot more opaque than I was hoping for, but I think with an edge highlight I can still pull it off. Anyway, the next thing for this particular miniature is very simple, where we have a white chest eagle on our Raven Guard Assault Intercessor. The only thing to do with that is really touch it with some Apothecary White contrast paint from Citadel, just to shade the recesses and such on it. So being the contrast paint, we put it on kind of heavy so that it gets into all the recesses, and while it is still reasonably wet, come in and wick up any of these areas where it's a little heavy, and that will leave, get that to focus, a reasonable shade in there. While waiting for that to dry, we may as well do the leathers, which will be raw grunted fur, and the trim on the shoulder pad, which I'm going to do with a Citadel Contrast Blood Angels Red. So I will get these colours laid on. And the main reason that we're doing the leathers in a brown rather than leaving them black for this miniature is, well, that black is a little bit much. Oh, here's a thing, I don't think I've mentioned this on any others of my tutorial videos, but I will mention it now. When we're using any paint, not just contrast like this, it is best to not use a dry brush. That is to say, before putting paint on your brush, moisten it, not soaking wet, but wet enough so that some of the moisture gets up into the ferrule, which will prevent paint getting up in there and will extend the life of your brushes. And with the price of good quality brushes these days getting, well, maybe not ridiculous, but it's certainly in the same ballpark as ridiculous, we need to make our brushes last as long as we can. So regular cleaning and using a good brush shampoo and conditioner keep them clean, and then something as simple as a moistened brush to prevent paint getting up into the ferrule is definitely worth trying. And for those of you who are less experienced, the ferrule is the metal part that the hairs go into that attaches the handle. You get paint in there, it dries in there, and basically it makes all your hairs fall out on your brush. And ain't nobody painting nothing good with a bald brush. So I will finish this brown, do the red trim on the shoulder pad, and probably red eyes. Shall we go for red eyes? Yes, I think we will. And red eyes, and then I'll bring you back in momentarily. Now that we have a little colour added to the miniature, we can see it is starting to look a little bit more like it. But the next thing for me to do is to go over the weapons casings and the armour expansion joints with a true black, for which I'm going to be using the contrast Citadel Black Legion, just to give that touch of contrast between the sort of drab black of the armour and these joints. This will be quite a subtle effect and fairly imperceptible, but it will show at least a little. And it's sometimes these subtle touches that make all of the difference. So I will bomb around all of these expansion joints and his weapon casings. In fact, I'll probably do the metallics on the weapons as well at the same time and bring you back in when all of that has been completed. So here we are, one Raven Guard Assault Intercessor, pretty much finished, double quick time. Base him up, stick him in your army, stick him on the table, and you've got a guy ready to go. A few decals here and there would probably improve the miniature, and to be honest, I think an edge highlight of Mechanicus Standard Grey is going to help as well, and maybe I'll even use the Wild Rider Red on his shoulder pad there. If you don't have access to decals, I have some Raven Guard decals here, but if you don't have access to decals, hit up the Hobby Corner, where my friend Kev should be producing a series where he teaches how to do freehand chapter badges and such. I hope that the Raven Guard are one of the ones he's planning, otherwise I'm going to look a little bit silly. I'll leave a link in the down below to let you know where the Hobby Corner is, and if I forget, leave me a comment to remind me. I think I will actually do these edge highlights, starting with the Mechanicus Standard Grey, and I won't make you go right through the whole of this, but what I will do is demonstrate very quickly the basics of the technique. So take your brush, using the side of your brush rather than the tip, and coming in at an angle, just gently run along any upward facing edges to give them sharp, well defined highlight, like so. If you're looking at an area where you can't get in to do that, such as the top of this knee pad, brace yourself with your elbows on the table and your hands together, and just gently come across the area you want to highlight with the tip of your brush, like this. If you need to move around to get the rest of the area, move the miniature rather than your hand's position. This will help you get a nice steady thing like so. So once more, on raised edges where you can, brush side at an angle gently along like so. It's an area like this where you can't do that. Elbows on the table, hands together to get a nice braced position, very tip of the brush, and just draw a thin line like so. I will move around the rest of the miniature doing this Mechanica Standard Grey and the Wild Rider Red. I will bring you guys back in once I have got all of these edges nicely highlighted. And I will also, off camera, put my decals on, base him up, and we'll look at him with finished miniature at the end. And here we see our completed Raven Guard Assault Intercessor. The mix of the two contrast paints, the Black Lotus from Express Colour and the Black Legion contrast paint, didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped. Maybe if I'd had access to a pot, using straight up Black Templar would have worked better, but well, we won't know now. But I feel that what we have got, and with the edge highlighting, has brought the miniature out quite nicely and gives you a very nice effect. I also added Raven Guard chapter pads to his left shoulder and assault markings to the right, and also an army badge on his greave there. I think that this miniature has actually come out as well as can be expected. And yeah, if you feel that you've learnt anything from this video, don't forget to give me a like and comment down below. Share the video amongst your friends who may want to paint miniatures with black armor, because don't forget this technique will work not just for Raven Guard, but will work for any miniatures who wear a sort of a black drab armor, including, I don't know, Star Wars Legion, Death Troopers, any armor, black armor really. So a like, share and a subscribe would be fantastic. All the miniatures and paints, brushes used in the video are available from Mighty Lantern Games in Bridlington. QR code on screen now, and again a link in the description down below. You can get up to 20% off making your purchases from there, and if you use my link or the QR code, they will give me a little kickback for sending them a new customer, so everyone's a winner. I also have Ko-fi and Patreon if those are your preferred ways of supporting content creators, and if not, I am more than happy with the likes and shares. So there's that. Also, with the decals that I've used, the waterline transfers, if you don't have access to those kinds of things, my friend Kev from the Hobby Corner is producing a series where he is tutorializing how to paint various Space Marine chapter badges, and I'm hoping that the Raven Guard is amongst them. So hit up the Hobby Corner, link in the pinned comment, and tell them Waylander sent you. Now that's enough of that. I've been Waylander, you've been absolutely fantastic. I love all your faces, and goodbye.